نسمع.
Okay, just explanation. The Greek Orthodox have seen that the Catholics have bought this land, it's actually here, and found all of these Capernaum treasures. So they wanted to, so they bought this land, the continuation of Capernaum, but found nothing too interesting. Some walls, some residential houses, but not really interesting thing. So they built here just a house for the patriarch, a summer house for the patriarch here, actually winter house because the weather here. And this was built for the patriarch in the 1920s, 1930s. And then what happened? 1948. And in 1948, you need to understand that the border between Israel and Syria was just here. So this was just on the border. It was totally unuseful, and the whole place was abandoned. And in the 1970s, after the Six-Day War, the Greeks said, okay, now we can transform this into a heaven. So they sent one monk from Greece to come here and rebuild this beautiful church devoted to the 12 apostles. That's why it has 12 domes. So the 12 apostles that came from here, and you can actually see the 12 apostles holding it, giving it to us. Here you can see only Peter and Paul. You can see Peter and Paul, okay? And on the other side, you can see all the 12 holding it.
How can you recognize it's Peter and Paul?
So you look at the attributes. Paul always has some very high, how can you say this? He's a bit bald. How about, yeah, with a high forehead, exactly. And Paul normally has a beard, has this tiny beard. Tiny beard, not a long one, but a tiny one. Sometimes he holds something like a shepherd's stick or keys that can for sure say it's him. And Paul sometimes is holding a sword because he was killed by the sword, or a scroll because he wrote all the scrolls, the different the epistles.
Because I
Thank
didn't
you.
see any accessory here, so that's why I asked.
No, there is a holding key.
So these tiny things that can show you. So it's Peter and Paul, on the other side there's the 12 apostles. And in 1991, a young guy, a monk from Macedonia, came here in Irinarchos. And Irinarchos is known to be the nicest monk in Israel, in the Holy Land. So you always just call him and say, I'm coming. And he said, yes, come, no worries, it's very nice, because normally we don't have access to Orthodox churches unless we are Orthodox believers. Most Orthodox monks would say, our church is not an art piece, it's not for learning, it's for praying. And if you're not an Orthodox believer, come to pray, you have nothing to look for in here. It's not art place. Don't come to look at our art. But Irinarchos is not like most of them. He said, no worries, you come, you enjoy the art. And he actually decided to decorate this church from inside, you're going to see it inside, with all the classical Byzantine art. So we went outside and did a real research around all the classical Byzantine churches in Athos and in Constantinople and in all the Byzantine, most pure Byzantine churches to learn the style and relate it here. So here you see classical Byzantine art from the 1990s that Irinarchos made. Right now, he said he's in lunch and he's coming in 5 minutes. So what we can do when Irinarchos is in lunch? First, in the Franciscan Capernaum, you just have a replica of a mosaic of a peacock, right? Irinarchos have a real peacock straying around.
We saw it.
Yeah, so much more attractive. And this is my time to say something about lunch in Sea of Galilee. Lunch of Sea of Galilee is not just lunch, it's also you need to give it part of your experience. Okay? What do you need? You want to have an overall exciting experience to your pilgrims. So this including seeing the churches, but it includes also lunch. It includes going to see the Jesus boat, you remember, in the museum. And it includes sailing in the Sea of Galilee. If you did not sail in the Sea of Galilee, you failed. You need your pilgrim to sail in the Sea of Galilee. Their pastor maybe will read from the scriptures about the Sea of Galilee and about preaching from the boat while they were sailing. This is amazing experience. Maybe more than visiting churches. You cannot prevent it from the tourists.
What's the logistics for that? Do we call? Can we reserve a boat?
Yeah, you reserve it. You can do it from 3 places. You can do it from the Galalon Museum. You can do it from Capernaum Dock, which is just by here. Okay, this is what's called National Park of Capernaum. It has nothing. It's just a dock that you can serve. The Capernaum National Park, which is just one dock. You have it in Gel also if you want. Okay, so we can go back and forth or set from one to another, from Beit Galalon in Ginosar to here if you want, this dock.
Should be wooden, no? Should be wooden.
It should look like, but not always. Yes.
If